Let's look at Azure Role-Based Access Control, folks. A little bit of a tutorial here. Not to dwell on this page too much, I did give you a quick rundown of this here on the last video, but just to remind you folks, the scope is management group, subscription, resource group, or resource level that these roles can be applied to. They can be assigned again to users, groups, service principals, or managed identities. They can be given a multitude of definitions. It's giving you an example here of owner, contributor, reader, but there's an absolute multitude of these here, and we'll see them now when we jump into the console or the portal, folks. So you're looking at my subscription here, folks, and if I click on access control, I am identity and access management. I'll just drop that blade in and click on roles. What you're going to see here is every single built-in role that applies to the subscription, folks, and there's absolutely hundreds of them in here. They say built in here, but you can create your own custom roles. There are 3 at the very top here that are common to everything. They're owner, contributor, and reader. Owner's the overarching one. Contributor's pretty much the same, only you can't assign roles, and reader can see everything that owner and contributor can see, but it can't do anything. The other ones, you can see they get down into the specifics, and it gives you a description of what they can do, folks. Like this one here, Azure Container Registry, delete. So if you assign that role, you could prevent someone from deleting an Azure Container Registry, folks, or grant them the permission to do so. What we can also do, folks, here at this level is we can create a custom role. Now, you can do this here at a management group level, a subscription level, and a resource group level, but not at a resource level, folks. You can only create that custom role at those 3 levels. What you can do though is you can assign a role at all those 4 levels. So management group, subscription, resource group, and resource. So once you've created your custom role, you can assign it. I actually have a custom role already made, and I assigned it at the subscription level, and it's here, and I can assign that there now to user, group, service principal, or managed identity. So I can, from the subscription all the way down to a resource group and resource. Okay, and we'll go through a demonstration of doing that, folks. What I'll do first here is I'll give you a little demo of actually creating a custom role. And what you do is just add custom role, give it a name, and give it a description of exactly what you want it to do, so you can find it again, and it's easier for other people to use as well if they want to use. There's 3 options here that you can give yourself a start from, folks. You can actually clone a role, just pick one and take the permissions that's already applied to it, and then cater those to your needs. You can delete or add to them as you see fit, folks. So if I look at virtual machine, let's say virtual machine contributor, I can have all the permissions that that's got, folks. So everything in here is allow. They're under actions, folks. So actions, if I wanted to cancel something off one of these actions, then I would put it in the not actions, folks. Okay, I can do that here by clicking edit and do it in here if you want to work with the JSON version of this, or if you want to come back and do the human readable form, you can delete and add actions in here as you see fit, folks. So adding permissions and excluding permissions. Okay, it's just a matter of clicking and then going and searching for things in here, folks. So if you wanted to do something around the Microsoft Compute availability sets, just copy that and put it in here, and it will then give you every option that you can think of under that there. So as you see, I opened up the exclude ones here, so it's in the not actions and the not data actions, folks. So there's no not data actions on this here one, but there's not actions. All right, so the management plane and there's the data plane, folks. Remember that. Okay, but I'll give you a demo of both of them because the custom role that I've created has both in it. So I'll come out of that. The add permissions one, so if I utilize that same pathway again, availability sets, I click in here. Is there any data actions? No, there's none for that, but there's actions on this one, folks. So again, if I wanted to get rid of any of those, then I could easily trim them off or add them as necessary from here. Okay, but at the minute they're all permission actions, folks. They're allow. They're what the user or group or managed identity or whatever is assigned this role can do. All right. So the assignable scopes, you can see here the subscription has already been applied to it, folks, and I could assign it, folks, at the subscription level to someone here, and then they'll have permission to do everything to all the resources, the virtual machines within the resource groups or at the resource group resource level itself under this subscription. So everything. So it's quite a broad assignment when you assign it to the subscription here, folks, and you've got a multitude of resource groups and resources underneath that. All right. And it will show that again inside the JSON here, assignable scope and permissions, actions are allowed, not actions not allowed, the data plane actions, whatever will be allowed, or the not data actions. Okay. Just a point to note, folks, role-based access controls, they aren't deny. Okay, it's quite confusing that there, and it confused me for a while as well. You can't come in here and just like put like a not action on something and it will prevent someone from accessing that. It's more of a limit if you give them the wildcard and you want to give them or deny them an action that would be falling under that wildcard permission, folks. You would put it in the not action. Okay, that's what that is for. All right, now, so if I come back out of there, then let's take a look at this custom role of mine then, folks. So if I click on view here, I will be able to jump in and look at the JSON here. I can see this assignable scope that this role can be applied at, folks, is a subscription level. So anywhere from the subscription level down, resource group and resources accordingly. And once it's assigned to someone, they will then pick up these permissions, folks. From the top down then, we're looking at actions here, and what we've got is all actions on the management plane on storage accounts, folks. We've got a wildcard here after storage accounts, that means it's got all actions on the management plane except for storage account write, which is creating a new storage account, folks, and we'll go through a demonstration of that in a minute. The other two permissions you can see in here, folks, are required for whenever I go to create a storage account and test this storage account not action out, and I need the resource groups read and I need the deployment validate, otherwise I can't do that. So for demonstration purposes, those two are in there for that. The data actions, folks, is the data plane. I will drop a link in that will explain the management plane and data plane in a little bit more detail and allow you to go down a bit of a research rabbit hole, folks. But just so you know, the all actions on a storage account will take you so far, but once you want to read the data inside a blob services container blob, then you need to have permissions on the data actions, the data plane. And in this case, folks, we've give this role all actions on blobs, but we've took an action off that by using this not data actions, and that's not allowing us to delete a blob, folks. And again, we'll demonstrate that. Okay, so I'm going to assign this to a user in my account, folks. I've got an incognito window opened here. I'll just blow this up, and I've got a fake user here, folks, who can't see anything in this account. As we're looking at it here, there's nothing showing up. If I go to storage accounts, they can't see storage accounts either, okay, which we want to be able to see. So I'll just pull that back out again, and what I'll do is in my administrator account here, I'm going to assign this role, folks. Okay, so add role assignment, and I select type to custom role, and I select this custom role of mine, folks. Once you select it, it'll gray out slightly. You can see the color changed on it, so you know you've selected it. Then I'm going to select members. I'm going to select that member we just looked at here. Okay, so once the search box comes up, folks, we can search for our user, select them, and then select down here. We can say they're now going to be assigned this role. You can assign conditions. We're not going to. The assignment type, I can give this a time sensitive allocation, folks, where the user will only have it for a specific set period of time, but I'm going to give it to them active and permanent just for the demonstration purposes of this tutorial. The principle of least privilege, folks, you want to restrict as many of these permissions to users so they only see and do what they need to. Okay, so review and assign, click on review and assign, and that role has been assigned, folks, to that user. So let's pull them back in again, blow this up, and if I refresh, folks, we should be able to see something. Sometimes you have to sign back out and in again. So this user can now see the storage account, folks. And what I'm going to do is test out the first part of this role, which, if we remind ourselves, is the not action to stop us from actually creating a storage account, folks. Okay, so let's test that out. So if we come back to here, storage accounts, click on create. This is why we need to be able to see the resource group, folks, that permission we have in the role as well. I'm just going to give it a name of testing here. I might have to add a couple of numbers on the end. They're unique. That's better now. We just want to go down straight to review and create. It's validating, folks. If you remember, that was the other part of the permissions in the role. We could validate deployments. So if I come here and we can see, folks, because we're missing the Microsoft.storage accounts /write, we're not able to create a storage account. And that part of this here role, folks, is doing exactly what it says on the tin. Okay. What we want to then test, folks, is our data actions. We should be able to go in and do everything on blobs except for delete a blob. So let's see if we can go in and read some blobs. Okay. Let's go back then, come back to storage accounts, go into the storage account here, and we'll use the storage browser, and we'll go to blob containers. We can read blob containers. Let's go into one of these blob containers, uploaded images, and we can read, so we can. Okay, that's exactly what that role is allowing us to do, folks. What it won't allow us to do is delete this blob. Okay, so if we try to delete this blob, then, folks, we should be prevented from doing so. If I click on delete, this role is doing exactly what it needs to do, folks, is prevent us from deleting that blob. If we just go back again and remind ourselves, we can read blobs, folks. We can do all the actions on blobs except for the not data actions, which is delete, folks. What I want to quickly show you, folks, is if I look at virtual machines with this user that I'm logged into, folks, Isaiah, and I go to virtual machines, I actually have virtual machine in this account. I can't see any virtual machines, folks, because I haven't got the permissions on this user here. If I look at virtual machines with my other user here, if I come back here, if I come to virtual machines, I have a virtual machine running in this Azure portal, folks. Okay, that user can't see that though. So let's go back in and give them the permissions. So I'm going to add role assignment, and I'm going to look for that virtual machine contributor. Come down to there, click on it, and that lets you manage virtual machines but not access to them. So that's all I want, to be able to see that virtual machine, folks. So virtual machine contributor. Then I'm going to click on members. You can see here, user group, service principal, or managed identity, folks, like we said before. Select members. I'm going to select that Isaiah. Select them. Select that. Assignment type. I'm going to make it active, permanent. Click next. Review and assign. Review and assign. You can see the role's getting assigned, and this should come up green. Added role assignment. That's good. That user now, folks, should be able to see virtual machines. I may have to refresh this and possibly sign out and sign back in again. If I refresh here, it hasn't gone through. Oh, it has now. Now I can see virtual machines, folks, because I've been assigned that role. I can click in here, so I can see into the virtual machine, overview here of all the settings. What I can't see there is if there's a public IP address assigned to it. So you can see I need more permissions, folks, to see stuff that's attached to the network interface card. I would need more permissions there to be able to see like a public IP address, but I can see a lot of the configuration here of this virtual machine, folks, with that permission that I've just been assigned. So if I come back out here, folks, that's a quick rundown of the permissions that you can apply. You can go as granular as you like with them, and it's the principle of least privilege, folks. You're trying to give people the least amount of permissions that they need to do their jobs. So as always, folks, if you've got any questions, please drop them in the the messages there, and I leave this one with you and wish you all the best. Take care and good luck.